morning everyone, my name's Andy, I'm going to be your trainer today. I'll just give you a little bit of background about myself. I've been on the railway for 7 years. I've got MVQs up to level 3 and I have what they call a PTS, which is a qualification to work on the railway, and then within that PTS I have many qualifications that I have to do to stay on the railway. Just going to run through some health and safety with you and some housekeeping. So if there is an emergency, come out of that door, there's a fire exit to your right and a fire exit to your left. If there is a fire, I'd ask you please not to use the lift. Anyone know why we don't use the lift in a fire?
Because you get stuck.
Because you get stuck, because not more times out of 10 the electrics will go and the lift will get stuck, so you'll be stuck in it. So please use the stairs. Okay? Toilets, if anyone needs to use the toilet, there's a toilet. If you come out the door, turn left, go through the main door. The ladies is the first left and the gentlemen's is the second left. There's tea and coffee in the kitchen next door. Feel free to go up and make tea and coffee whenever you need to. If you need to make any phone calls, I'd ask you to just step out the room, make the phone call, come back in, just so you don't disrupt everyone else in the class. I think that's about it. So, as I say, I'll give you a little bit of information about yourself. So we'll just go around the room now and get to know everyone. So just give me your name and a little bit of information about yourself. We'll start here, young lady.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. I'm a beautician and I live in Hornchurch.
I'm Saika. I'm currently in the security industry and I live in Vocational.
My name's Asma and I'm in the security industry also, and yeah, that's about it.
Gary, health and safety practitioner and live in Hornchurch.
My name is Louis. I'm a beautician and esthetician living in
Lovely. Well, it's lovely to meet you all. The lesson today we're going to learn, I'm going to teach you some basic PTS rules. So I'll start by explaining PTS. To work on the railway, you need a card. This is a PTS card. You can pass that round if you want. If you scan that card, it'll have all my qualifications to work on the railway. What I'm going to do is give you a basic knowledge of just a few things on the railway, just to start, just a basic start. And then if you wanted to go on the railway, you'd have a basic start. Okay? So first one, I'm just going to explain the PPE. PPE on the railway is all orange. You need a hard hat, glasses, gloves, then an orange coat, orange trousers and steel toe cap boots. Mandatory across the whole thing. For you to get on the railway, not only do you need that PTS card, but you also need full orange. Okay? So to give you a little handout, just pass them around for me. Okay, so as I said, you need this card, PTS card, to work on the railway. You cannot work on the railway without this card. You can't even go onto the railway without a card like this. So if you're not on the railway, you are classed as line side. So in this drawing at the bottom, where there's a square, see the square here? That bit there is classed line side. So if you write line side in there for me. Okay, and what do you think as a measurement for me to go from line side to what they call on or near the line? What do you think that measurement is? How far away do you think I have to be on the railway?
I guess, is it 10 foot?
10 foot? Anyone else?
No idea.
It is 10 foot or 3 metres. So if I am 3 metres away from a track, I am line side, which means I am not on the railway. If I'm within 3 metres, I am on or near the line. Yeah? So if I'm here, this box here that I've coloured out, you are on or near the line if you are within 3 metres of the track. Okay? Which is not that far when you think about it. 3 metres. Probably the length of this classroom, maybe. Yeah? So if I am 1.25 metres from the track, am I on or near the line or am I line side?
on.
on on either line. Simple, yeah? Okay. This bit here on your drawing is a platform, or supposed to be a platform, because you're not in colour, but I am. That's a platform, yeah? There's a right platform in there for me. So, on a platform, we've all been on a platform on a train station, yeah? There's a yellow line. That yellow line is 1.25 metres away from the track. And you are classed as a line side if you are behind that line.
Sorry, so there's a line 1.25 from the track?
Yep, so now you go onto the platform on a train station, and now at every platform there's a yellow line that goes all the way along your platform. That yellow line is 1.25 metres from the track, and you are line side if you are behind that line. So if I was stepped over, if you're on the platform and you step over that yellow line, you are classed as on or near the line by railway workers. Which is, and everybody that goes onto a platform will go across the yellow line.
Now think about it, yeah.
But you are technically on the railway. Something to bear in mind when you're on a platform next time. Yeah? So, if you stand on a platform and you're behind the yellow line, you are line side. Line side. Well, line side, on or near the line. Just their little terms that you'll get used to as we go along. Yeah? So, we're line side if we're how many metres away from the track?
1.25.
Anything below 3.
Anything below 3, well done Chelsea. And if you're on a platform, you're line side if you are
1.2.
1.25, yes. Remember them numbers, don't write them in yet. Okay? So that is basic. Basic PTS. One, what do you need to, first of all, even to get on the railway?
The card and the
PTS,
yeah.
which stands for Personal Track Safety. So this card, if you scanned it, would tell you that I'm allowed to work on the railway, and then it would tell you all my tickets that I have on the railway and what I can and can't do. So I'm allowed, once you get that, you're allowed to go. So if I have this ticket, if I don't have this ticket, can I go on or near the line? So technically, if I was on a platform, am I allowed to step over the yellow line?
No.
No.
That's it. Can I ask you, when they scan it, does it give them like expiry dates?
Yes. Comes up. It'll come up when my next test is for the tickets I have and when my actual PTS card runs out. I think it's every 2 years. Okay? So without that card, we cannot go on or near the line or trackside. It makes it easier. So then we have the top picture, yeah? Which is a basic layout of a track. Some, if you cut the picture in half, you would have just two lines. Some you have 10 lines. Yeah? And we'll just run through a little bit of terminology track layout. Okay? So on most tracks, whether it be 4 lines like this or 2, the safest place for you to be is on the outside. Okay? Which is called the cess. Okay? So the cess is where we walk to or from our site of work. It's the safest place. If you was asked to get in a position of safety, you'd probably go into the cess. Okay? Then we have the rail. Then we have the sleepers and then a rail. So in between the 2 rails, where the sleepers are in the middle, we call that the forefoot.
That's between the 2 separate lines.
So if a train would run across the line, the train would be on either rail there and the forefoot would be underneath it.
Did the sleepers go under the track?
No. Well, under the rail.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is dig out
And
underneath,
then
then they
slide them
put some type 1 down and some other stuff, then they'll lay the sleeper,
Yeah.
and then they'll put all the ballast that you see, all the stone around it, and they'll put clips on each end of a sleeper,
Yeah.
all the way along, and then the rail will sit in that,
I always wondered what they was doing with
and
this.
then you clip the rail onto the sleeper,
Yeah.
and then there's special tools that you can take the clips on and off with. A rail, believe it or not, is dead straight when you put it in. Doesn't matter if it's going around the curve, it's dead straight. And then what they do is, I'll go right technical, but what they'll do is they call a can. So if they want to go around the corner, if you're going around it that way, say, so if you're going around it this way, the bottom will come down, the top will go up, bottom will come down, top will go up, bottom will come down, and then you put the rail into the sleepers, and eventually it will just bend and stay bent because it's been in there for years. But when you first get a bit of rail out, it's dead straight.
Wow.
So,
I know.
yep. So yeah, that's the 4 foot. So far we've got the safest place to be on the railway, I said, was the cess, and then we've just learnt about the 4 foot. So, where we have, if we cut this picture in half just for now, okay, if we forget about the right hand side, so we're just concentrating on the left hand side. So we've got this rail on the left, that's going to London, and this rail on the right, that's going to the country. Okay? So we've got a 4 foot there. What would you say that's called then?
You've got another foot.
Got another 4 foot. Yeah. So where you've got the 2 tracks, each track, doesn't matter where it is, in between the 2 rails, it's called a 4 foot. So if you're stood in the middle of a track, you're always stood in the 4 foot. Doesn't matter what line you're on, what track you're on, you're always stood in the 4 foot. The bit in between the 2 rails is called the 6 foot. Now these measurements are not totally accurate, but it is said that in between 2 rail is supposed to be 4 foot, and then in between the 2 lines is supposed to be the 6 foot. But their measurements are not always like that. It's just the terminology that they use across the board to make it easy.
I don't suppose they can deviate too much because they make trains and they've got to run on them lines and could come past one another sometimes. So it must be pretty much accurate.
So we've got the safest place is the bit in the middle between the 2 rails.
4 foot.
The bit in between the 2 lines, 6 foot. Okay? So on this picture you've got in your drawing, you've got 2 different lines. So we could say that is the up and down slow, and that is the up and down fast, which means the trains will run faster on this line, but they are in that line. So there's a big bit in between the middle. Okay? What do you think they call that? As a guess. Doesn't matter if you're wrong, but as a guess.
7 foot.
7 foot?
10 foot.
Is it the same sort of safety, sort of like the last resort sort of safety area?
That is, funny enough, that is not the safest area to be in that picture.
Other than the cess, so you couldn't go
Other than the cess. If you was, we'll go again, it's going a little bit off, but if you was in there and a train come, you'd have to lay down on the floor.
Yeah.
Could be stood up. Okay? It's called the 10 foot.
Oh, 10 foot.
Yes. It's called the 10 foot. And then on the other side, leave it for now, but in a little while I'm just going to ask you to fill in everything that's been marked out on these 2. Just to fill them in, write them in for me, see if you can remember. Okay? What I'll do is just give you another little handout here. I just want to explain. This is not important, you won't be like testing on this. This is just an explanation of how close you can be to a train when you're working on a track and how fast it can be going. Just so you understand that if you do want to go out and work in the railway, it's a very, very, very serious job. So, as we said earlier on that other picture, our position of safety is the CES. It will always be the CES, the position of safety. So remember we was talking about the platform, line side, yellow line, 1.25. Okay? When you work on the railway, if a train is going between 0 and 100 miles an hour, you are safe if you are 1.25 meters away from the track that the train's running on. Yeah? So if you imagine standing right on the yellow line and the train's coming at 100 miles an hour, you're classed as safe out on the railway. Even if it's like some trains that you go into platforms, they're coming through, they won't go through at 100, they'll go through at 60, they're still quite vroom when they go through. But you imagine being out in the country with no platform, just a little cess, and you've got to stand there and the train comes through 100 miles an hour and you're only the yellow line away from it. 1.25, that's safe, class as safe. If a train is 101 miles an hour to 125 miles an hour, you are safe if you are 2 meters away from that track.
And can I ask you, so typically, would it be someone like in your role, you'd know the average speeds of trains passing through the lines?
Yeah. Well, if the next couple of lessons we'll learn about it, but they're called safe work packs. In that safe work pack, it tells me the line speed, what direction the trains are coming from, if there's any hazards in the area. It tells you everything you need to know about the safety of the railway. But as long as I am 2 meters away from 101 to 125 meter track, mile track, then I'm safe. It's very small margins. And I've worked where you are in a position of safety like that and a train will come through at like 120 miles an hour, especially out on the line. I've got videos of it as well. I'll see if I can find them in the break for you. But it's scary. So that was just there. That's just a little bit of information, just to get you used to that. People think the trains ain't always stopped when you work on the railway. If you get emergencies and things like that.
So what if, for example, this is the safety, but if you're like close to it and it's going at the speed that you're saying, what are the kind of hazards? Would you suddenly get attached to the train? Or
you can do. The train could catch you.
Can it? Yeah.
If you stand 1.25 meters away and the train goes past at 80 miles an hour, once the train goes past, the backdraft from that train can take you with it.
Yes.
And you can feel it.
Pressure.
Like normally if a train's coming in this direction towards me and I'm in a position of safety, I'll turn my back, acknowledge the train, turn my back so when it goes past and the wind comes past me, nothing's coming off, and then I can turn around and get back. Yes.
So on another point, I was going to say, so is there restrictions on what clothing, like things like that? I see you got hoodies.
You can't wear hoodies. If you wear, you have special balaclavas that have holes in them, so you can hear trains. Everything has to be Network Rail approved or.
So your hive, when you wear for hives, are they zipped up?
Yep.
As opposed to ones typically.
A lot of just normal hivers they're normally popped down the side, so if anything does catch you, it just pop off and fly. But you have rain jackets, but you have to zip up. You don't have to zip them up, but you zip them up, and then some of them are loose, so it can still your clothes and everything when the train goes past. But it's something you just get used to. So, okay, everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
So you've just had a basic knowledge of the first part of a PTS. That was the first part you'd learn. So that handout that I give you with the tracks on it, if you can fill in the rest, fill in just what you think it is. The line side, the near on and inner line, and the platform I'll give you to write in. If you just write the distance that you think you should be. So then while you're doing that, I've just got a last little activity to do. Does everyone know what a phonetic alphabet is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I gathered everyone should know. I'll explain it to you, Charles, don't worry. I've got my handouts as well. What we're doing is just quickly go through the phonetic alphabet.
Thank you.
So the phonetic alphabet is an alphabet that's used by the police, most people nowadays, but it's used on the railway as well. For numbers, you'd always say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 1, 0 if it was 10. So you'd always have to, if you're saying O, you don't say O, you say 0. That's just for numbers. For the actual letters, instead of me ringing, if there's an emergency and I ring the signal and go with my accent as well, H, W, he ain't going to really understand what's going on. So they use the phonetic alphabet, which is A for Alpha, B for Bravo, C for Charlie, D for Delta, E for Echo, F Foxtrot, G Golf, H Hotel, I India, J Juliet, K Kilo, L Lima, Mike November, Mike for M, N November, O Oscar, P Papa, Q Quebec, R Romeo, S Sierra, T Tango, U is Uniform, V is Victor, W is Whiskey, X is X-ray, Y is Yankee, and Z is Zulu. Yeah? So it's in front of you. It's just a little thing we're going to do. I'm going to ask you to spell your name with the phonetic alphabet. Just as a last little activity. Go around the room. Okay, you don't get it wrong, you don't get it right. It's just a bit of fun. Alright? So I'm going to leave you to go last, Chelsea, so you can understand. Yes.
Yeah,
and I'm going to start with you, Dee. Can you spell your name using the phonetic alphabet?
D for Delta, W for Whiskey, E for India.
Easy. Gary?
Golf, Alpha, Romeo, Yankee.
Yep.
Alpha, Sierra, Mike, Alpha. Sierra, Alpha, India, Quebec, Alpha.
Chelsea?
Charlie, Hotel, Echo, Lima, Sierra, Echo, Alpha.
Excellent. Well done, everyone. Brilliant. So, we're going to wrap it up now. Just to go through a few things that you think you've learned. So, if you are more than 3 meters away from the track, you are
Safe.
Lineside.
lineside.
Yeah.
If I am standing here,
10,
in the middle, so I'm standing in the,
10, 4.
if I'm standing here,
4, 4.
4, 4.
and if I'm standing here,
6.
6.
excellent. So there's your 3 points. The 3 points today are, you are line side if you are 3 meters away from the track. What are you classed as if you are less than 3 meters away from the track?
Track side.
Track side or on or near the line. Yeah? The next lesson we'll go into a little bit more about speeds and trains and then safe systems of work. What we'll do now though is we'll tidy up all our mess, put everything in the bin that we don't need, and we can go home.